All right, we do look funny, but we are ready. Life vests. We are ready for the floods. There's some sad things that have happened with floods lately, sad occurrences and outcomes, and that's unfortunate. And definitely, we want to be prepared and avoid an outcome that has happened in Texas, which is so sad. And it didn't really need to happen. A life vest, very inexpensive, and if you have that, you're wearing that, when a flood comes, you'll float, and hopefully float to where you can get help if you're not a good swimmer.
Well, the flood in Texas, unfortunately, did come in the middle of the night. The children were sleeping in a summer camp, and they had no warning. I was thinking that if they had these life vests stored under their beds, and they could have had one per person for whatever activities, boating, canoeing, kayaking, they could have stored them under their beds, and they would have been easily accessible when the flood waters came in. Now, I know this wouldn't be 100% sure, this wouldn't be 100% that they weren't going to live, because a lot of them would have head injuries or whatnot being swept away. There's a lot of debris being swept away. But they could also potentially have a blow-up raft, or a raft close by, or a helmet or something. I'm just saying that I like to think ahead and take some precautions in life. And this is a really basic one. This was so affordable. We got 2 of these for less than $14 at Walmart, right? I've seen them every time I've been to Walmart. I never priced them, but we saw online that if you buy them online and pick up, they were 2 for $13.92 or so. So I said, hey, we should have these. And who knows when your house is going to flood. If you watch the news, we had the huge Hurricane Helene in the fall. And after that, just in the last couple of weeks, in addition to Texas, there's been Iowa, Illinois, North Carolina, and also, I believe, New York, and many states have been flooding, flash floodings. In Georgia here, we've had rain almost every day, most of the summer, really torrential rains, and I never thought that we would flood. But after the last few weeks with all these states flooding, I've got to thinking maybe we will flood. Who knows? And if you have a life jacket handy, and it seems funny, it seems like a funny idea, it seems unusual, it seems like unnecessary, but I guarantee if those waters were to come in, your neighbors would be finding you for these life jackets. People would be ripping them off of you, and people would be going crazy. So this is such an affordable solution, at least for the children. These are adults over 90 pounds, but I feel like this one is choking my neck. I don't know why.
Yeah, I do too.
It is an adult one. So for children, this would be an ideal solution. I think we may go ahead and purchase the regular jackets, because this is very uncomfortable. And if you are stranded, we saw a lot of people were stranded in trees or wherever for hours on end. It would be very, very uncomfortable. And I know that in Georgia, our biggest lake is Lake Lanier. There's always multiple drownings every year, basically because people don't wear life jackets. They do have signs near lakes that say, and I'm not sure if it's a state law here, but they say life jackets save lives, and they encourage when you're on a boat, because you could easily fall off the boat and drown.
Right.
So the last 2, one was a kayaker who they honestly don't know. He was close to the shore where his kayak was. He was a father of maybe 4 or 5 kids, and sadly he lost his life recently. And then there was another one I heard of who fell or jumped into the lake and had a life jacket on, but he didn't buckle it, and so it slipped off and he drowned. So I hear this over and over again, all these people who drown, and it breaks my heart, because the simple thing is the life jacket could have prevented that drowning. And if this one fits them, maybe they have a smaller neck, or I don't know if we're doing something wrong here. $7, but I think the jackets were maybe $30 each. So that's still pretty affordable, considering you don't know at any point that you could just be flooded in your home. Like, you think of all those people in Hurricane Helene, they never did give a final death toll, but so many of those poor innocent people lost their lives in their homes. Another idea is keeping these in your cars, as our infrastructure is getting outdated and aged. We've had bridge collapses, and many people have perished. There's a major one. I don't really remember that one that the cars all drove off the bridge. That was a few years ago. There was that more recent one where the workmen were repairing the bridge in Baltimore, and a ship, it wasn't a barge or a ship hit it.
Yeah.
And I would think the OSHA standard would be that maybe you have to wear a life vest or life jacket when you're working on a bridge over water. Then there's been also many tourist deaths, like the duck accident years ago where a family went on the duck tour. I don't remember, where was that? It wasn't in Atlanta, but I remember Atlanta has ducks and they had a big thing there.
Yeah.
I don't remember what city that was in.
Yeah, I can't remember. That was a long time ago.
Within the last 10 years, but that one really stood out because I rode the ducks as a child, and then we took our children to ride the ducks in Boston, and I don't remember where I rode them as a child, but my parents took us, and my father explained those ducks were from World War II, where they ride on land and water, and it was so cool. Well, they're so old now, they're not always maintained, and that was a bad storm, and those people, unfortunately, a lot of them perished. And so there's many, many different kinds of accidents with water. I mean, going back to lakes, we just heard about a 5-year-old whose parents took camping in North Georgia, and the 5-year-old wandered off, they said, for 10 minutes and found the lake and drowned. And I was thinking, I remember when I was a child and my parents would take us to the beach, and there was 8 of us a year apart, and none of us were strong swimmers, and my parents weren't strong swimmers, and we wore these orange life jackets on the beach. The whole time we were on the beach, my parents required us to keep that on the whole time. And I don't know, I felt secure as a child when I had that life jacket on. And then we hear every summer about the riptides and all the people who die in riptides. And the last one is a man tried to save, I think, 5 people, and he died. The person who tries to save him often dies. And I always wondered, do you think if he had a life jacket on, do you think he would have lived?
Probably would have had a better chance.
Yeah, I mean, people believe if they swim, they don't need life jackets.
Right.
But our children went to a swim party, and I was standing there, and they had 2 lifeguards. And I turned my head thinking, okay, there's 2 lifeguards, and our children swim. And then, sure enough, the lifeguards both jumped in, and it was our children. Our daughter panicked because she couldn't reach the bottom, even though she could swim, and our son could swim. She grabbed our son and was pulling him under. And so even though they both knew how to swim, they panicked. Right. And then there was another time we went to the beach one year, and our son was about 5, I think, and I carried him in the ocean. The waves kept knocking us down. We were right we were in 2 inches, 3 inches of water, and he was so panicked. He held me down in the water, and Steve and our daughter were laying in the sun about 5 or 10 feet away. They never saw a thing, and our son was holding us down. And I thought, I'm going to drown in 2 inches of water.
And you can drown in 2 inches of water, 1 inch of water. You know, all you have to do is have the right circumstance and get water in your lungs, and it's over.
I think my mother always said that when we were young children, that you could drown in 1 or 2 inches. I think she always said that. And we actually did have a 4-foot pool at one point in our lives. And again, none of us were strong swimmers, but my parents' logic was if you could touch the ground, you're okay, which it's not really true, because if you're out there alone, you could get a cramp and drown. But with 8 kids, they knew we were never going to be out there alone. But they do always recommend never swim alone. And my sister does have a pool, and she swims alone all the time, and I always am afraid that something could happen to her, because the cardinal rule is to never swim alone.
That's right.
So water is dangerous. Water is dangerous.
It's very dangerous.
And then also water with people, with houses, with home accidents or home repairs, water is usually the majority, the cause of most home maintenance, home
repair. The least repair I want to do is plumbing, because water is really hard to gauge water, to stop water from flowing. Plumbing is not a satisfying thing to do. I mean, if it needs to be done, I'd rather hire somebody, a plumber, who is a professional and can handle water.
Which is what we did with our recent, when our toilet broke and we didn't know it, and it was running for quite a while, and then it started leaking and damaged our drywall. So yeah, that did damage. I'm talking about damage to our home from water, and we've moved all the time, and we had nine different houses, and so this house had water damage. We had another house where the basement flooded. We were on vacation and we came home, and the basement was flooded because of a little washer, because of a 5-cent washer that had cracked. It flooded our whole basement, and that wasn't covered by insurance. So we had that water damage, and then we've had roof leaks, not here, but previous homes. So we've had, and then in a rental house, the washer and dryer leaked, and I always shut off the water to the washer and dryer, or to the washing machine, and it kept leaking, so I had to call the owners of the home, and they had to call a plumber. So water causes a lot of home repairs. That's the one thing that causes the most.
Right.
You don't want to be in low level, downhill, your house. Like my father's home, he built the house, his last house, and he had a hill in the backyard that came down to the house. And I never liked that hill. Well, after he died and they sold the house, the next woman who bought it, it actually damaged, he had a crawl space, so damaged it and did a lot of damage, and she had to put in a French drain and spend quite a bit of money fixing that because all that water running down the hill. So when you buy a house, you always want to be up on a hill, or I guess level. You don't want to be where the water's running to the house.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you don't want to be below sea level.
So water is good. We need water to drink. We need 8 glasses of water a day. Water keeps us alive. It's the number one thing you can't live without, but it also causes a lot of damage.
Yeah, it can be a hazard.
So we've been busy lately, as usual, and Steve hasn't been in the last few videos, but
I'll be in a lot more.
So we try to age joyfully, but so much is going on. I feel like Rip Van Winkle, because I feel like I fell asleep, and when you wake up, the world's a whole different place. So many new things have changed, so many new laws, new regulations, like I've said, we know things change as we age, but it seems like in the last couple of years, the last 5 years, I'd say they've changed faster than they have in our entire life. Everything's changed, and we're trying to keep up with it as we age joyfully. And Sammy here wanted to be in our video. She's usually so great when I bring her up here to take pictures, but she's been walking, and we play ball with her, and she's very hyper.
She is hyper. Crazy.
Yeah, we don't know why she's so hyper today, but she's been walked and played ball, and it's a very, very warm day today as usual in Georgia. But we hope you're doing well. We hope you're surviving all this water. We hope you're not getting flooded or getting damage to your home.
Right, yes. And that you stay well. I mean, just remember, if you're outside and it's hot, stay hydrated. Drink plenty of fluids.
Water.
And that's
water's the only
water is the best thing to drink. Juice won't hydrate you. Soft drinks won't hydrate you, and alcohol definitely will not hydrate you.
Well,
but water will.
Caffeine is a dehydrator, so if you drink a soft drink with caffeine,
Yeah.
coffee, and then liquor, I believe, is also alcohol. I think is also a dehydrator. So, yes, to stay healthy, drink lots of water,
Yep.
wear a hat, sunscreen,
Yep.
good clothing,
Yeah.
and stay safe. Take care of yourself, and we hope to.
See you again soon.
We hope to make some more fun videos about. I mean, we don't like to get into politics too much, but it seems like that is all over the news. We're trying to keep joyful, which is getting more and more challenging every day. But we hope to have some more good topics. And until we see you again,
Take it easy.
Sammy, you want to come up here? Sammy, you want to come up here? I'm going to put in some of Sammy's beautiful pictures. She is such a beautiful dog, and she absolutely loves modeling. She will.
Look, Sammy. Look. Look.
Good girl. Good girl. And we have our new backdrop, which we'll be taking down because it is a small backdrop just for Sammy. So we will be taking it down, going back to our regular summer backdrop soon.
A regularly scheduled program.
Bye.